The Big Mac Index, a global price comparison tool. The Big Mac, and of course this is the Big Mac, McDonald's most famous hamburger. Index, you can say guide, indicator, list, measurement list, or evaluation scale. And this is the index right here. So let's talk about it. A global means that something is around the world, like COVID was a global virus. Worldwide, international, universal. These are all synonyms. Oh, and if you are new here, synonyms are in blue, antonyms are in red, and reworded sentences are in green. Let's continue. Price, you can say cost or rate. Comparison, because the goal of this index is to compare different prices. Like here you see in Taiwan, 75 Taiwan dollars, it's $2.39 in America, and America's is $5.69. Switzerland, you're paying $8.07. So the goal of this is to compare the Big Mac price or cost or rate in different countries. This is a tool to help us learn. Resource, aid, instrument, method, approach. These are all synonyms, okay? So let's read. The Big Mac Index is an informal way of measuring the purchasing power of different currencies. Introduced by The Economist in 1986, the index compares the price of a Big Mac burger across various countries. The idea is simple. If the burger costs more in one country than in another, it suggests that the first country's currency may be overvalued. Conversely, a cheaper Big Mac indicates that the currency might be undervalued. Let's come back and read. The Big Mac Index, so index is in green because we already had it here. I will do that with words we've already talked about, okay? Is an informal. So it's informal, casual, unofficial, lighthearted, fun, simplified, non-technical, and playful. The antonym is official. So this is not an official way to measure purchasing power, but you can use it to help you. So let's continue. Way of. Now here I wrote the synonyms. Method, for. So when I do this, you use the noun method and the preposition for. Any word I choose, you use with for. So again, method for, approach for, strategy for, measuring. So let's look at measuring. Indicating, gauging, assessing, seeing, figuring out, or understanding. The antonym here would be guessing, because you can see the prices on the list. You don't have to guess. But you can see I reworded this. These three words here, way of measuring, you can reword to way to measure. Just read through the sentence and read the green, okay? The Big Mac Index is an informal way to measure the purchasing power of different currencies. And then you can see, you can read the sentence more than one way, all right? So let's come here to purchasing, the purchasing. You can say synonym buying, the antonym is selling. And power, you can say value or strength of different currencies. So currencies, types of money. But you can also see this has been underlined. So let's read this through. The Big Mac Index is an informal way of measuring how much different currencies are worth, or the value of different currencies, or the differences in currency values. So any of these phrases I can plug into the sentence and reword the sentence, okay? So you can see the power, the value or strength of different currencies. Come back up here. So they put all the prices in American dollars here. You can see in Switzerland it is $8, and in Taiwan it is $2.39. That means if you live in Switzerland and you go to Taiwan, you can buy 3 Big Macs for the price of 1 Big Mac in your country. And you can see the differences. United States is the base here, and these are the differences. It's 41% higher in Switzerland, but it's 58% lower in Taiwan. So this can help you understand your currency values. It's kind of cool. Introduced by, presented by, or published in. And published means it's printed, because The Economist is a magazine. Introduced by The Economist in 1986, the index compares the price or cost of a Big Mac burger or hamburger across or in, both of these prepositions can work here, various. So various means many different, but this I reworded. Introduced by The Economist in 1986, the index looks at, checks, or sees. So choose one verb. Looks at how much it is the Big Mac, cost in different countries. So let's read that through. The index looks at how much it cost in different countries. Or you can use checks or sees, right? So this is just to tell you it is the Big Mac, all right? Countries, you can say nations. Let's keep going. The idea, concept, or notion is simple. Simple means it's easy to understand. The antonym is complex. If the burger cost more, so cost more, I reworded this. If the burger is more expensive, or if the burger is more costly. And if you come down here, you can say if the burger has a higher cost. Now, because my verb cost has S, my synonyms need to have S too. Is has S, has S. Let's keep going. In one country, so country, we already had it here. You just take the word nation and remove the S. In one country or nation, than in another. A different one or a different country. So this word another is a noun here. It suggests, implies, proposes, or points to the possibility that the first or initial country's currency, and when you see currency, I just want you to think of money. And if I write synonyms or antonyms under the word, I normally put them in parentheses to help you see it more clearly. May be overvalued. So you don't want to have overvalued currency. The antonym is undervalued. Like in Taiwan, their money might be undervalued, which is why it's cheaper. But I reworded this. Let's read through. It suggests that the first country's currency may be worth more than it should be, or the first country's currency may have more value than it's really worth. Last one. The first country's currency could be stronger than it really is. So I'm trying to reword this and show you many ways to write the same sentence. Conversely, oppositely, or on the other hand, so they're going to give another point now. On the other hand, a cheaper. So cheaper, the antonyms are more expensive, or we can say the antonym is costlier. Big Mac indicates, shows, or reflects that the currency or money might be undervalued. The currency might be worth less than it should be, or the currency might have less value than it's really worth. Last one, the currency could be weaker than it really is. Which, like I said, if you're from Switzerland and you go to Taiwan and you can buy 3 Big Macs, you're probably happy about that. That's good value for your money. The index offers a lighthearted, yet insightful way to gauge the strength of currencies. It reflects differences in living costs, wages, and local market conditions, making it a useful tool for comparing global economies. While not a perfect measurement, the Big Mac Index has been widely discussed among economists and financial experts. Let's go back. The index offers, provides, or gives us a lighthearted, and we had this earlier, if you look up, informal here, we wrote lighthearted. So you can see I'm using words from earlier. The index offers a lighthearted, yet insightful. This is insightful. That means it teaches you something. It's clever, informative, illuminating, smart, and intelligent. This is a good way to teach people currency values and purchasing power. So the antonyms for insightful: simplistic, uninformed, misleading, and inaccurate. Way to gauge. So I reworded this. A lighthearted yet insightful way of gauging. And if you come back to the top, we did this earlier. Way of measuring you can change to way to measure. See, if you have to, your verb cannot have S, it can't have ed, it can't have ing. You have to use your base verb. So this is something to watch for with your grammar. The strength. Do you remember strength? Value or power of currencies. So I don't want you to just think money like we did earlier. I want you to think different types of money, okay? It reflects, indicates, or shows differences. And you can say disparities because there are differences in living costs. So let's talk about living costs. The synonyms are cost of living or basic living expenses. Living cost is about how much it costs to live in your country. How much is it to rent your house or apartment? How much is electricity? How much is internet? Water. These are things that are about the living cost, okay? Wages is the money you make. You can say salaries or income. And local, so local means something is near you, it's in your country maybe. You can say domestic and regional. The antonym is foreign, okay? Market, you can say economic. That's the adjective for economy. Conditions or factors, okay? Let's say you live in a very cold country like Russia. It's going to be more expensive for you to get pineapples or mangoes because those fruits grow in tropical places. So the market conditions mean that things might be more expensive in some places, okay? Making it, remember, it is the index. I reworded this, which is why it's a useful tool, or we can say allowing it to be a useful tool. And useful, the antonym is useless. So tool for comparing global or international economies or markets, while or though not a perfect. So if something is perfect, there is nothing wrong with it. This is not perfect though. Perfect means it's flawless or ideal, okay? The antonym is flawed. Measurement, you can say assessor or gauge. The Big Mac index has been widely. So widely, we got a lot of synonyms. You can say regularly or routinely. Now, every other word here is a synonym, but you have to use them differently. And I'm going to explain that a little. You can see I have the word extensively, but I have an asterisk because I have to reword it. So you can say extensively, a lot, commonly, often, or frequently. If something has been widely discussed, this word widely is about the extent. If I say COVID spread widely, that means the extent to which it spread. It spread everywhere in the world. But if I say it spread a lot, that's just the amount. So they're a little different, and we're going to talk about it when I reword the sentence. Let's do this word first, and then we will come back. Discussed, you can say talked about or spoken about. Both of these verbs have to be used with the word about. And I have to use the word spoken because I have has been. I have to use the past participle of speak. Speak, spoke, spoken. That's why you have to use spoken here and not spoke. So watch for this, okay? So has been widely discussed. We can reword it. The Big Mac index has been discussed a lot, has been discussed extensively. So you would put your adverb after the verb discussed. Or if I want to use these other words, commonly, often, and frequently, I would have to say the Big Mac index is commonly discussed, is often discussed, is frequently discussed among or by economists. So economists are market experts, people who know about the economy. Maybe they can tell you if the prices will go up or down. That's the job of an economist. They know a lot about the market, all right? And financial experts. So financial is about money. I just wrote these words in pink to help you remember some vocabulary words. Money is the noun. The adjective for money is monetary. If I have a financial advisor, maybe he or she will tell me which stocks I should buy, like I should buy Google or YouTube stock, or which companies I should invest in. That's what a financial expert will do, okay? So financial experts, and if you're an expert, you are really good at something. If you play in the NBA, like LeBron James, like Michael Jordan, you're an expert. You are paid money to do something. So experts, the synonym is professionals. The antonym is amateurs. Like me, I play video games for fun. I don't make money to play video games. I'm an amateur, okay? Let's continue. In 2024, countries like the United States and Switzerland tend to have higher Big Mac prices, while nations with lower wages and living costs, such as India and Brazil, feature more affordable burgers. The price gap is not just about the cost of ingredients, but also reflects local economic factors, including labor costs and supply chains, while the Big Mac Index cannot capture the full complexity of international exchange rates. It provides an accessible and relatable way for people to understand currency values in everyday terms. Let's come back and talk about this. In 2024, countries like or such as the United States, you can also say the United States. We can change that to America, the US, or the USA, okay? And Switzerland tend. So if something tends to happen, that means it's normal or likely. In America, it tends to snow in the winter. But because that's only one country, I would say it is likely to snow in the winter. Because we have two places here, we're going to use the be verb are. The United States and Switzerland are likely to have, feature, or sport higher, the antonym is lower, Big Mac prices or costs, while or whereas nations or countries with lower wages and living costs such as, see, such as, we already had it here, like India and Brazil feature, offer, have, or sell. More, the antonym is less, affordable, affordable means you can buy it and it's not too expensive. The antonym is unaffordable. So, feature, I reworded this. Let's read. Feature less expensive burgers. Feature less costly burgers. Or I can say India and Brazil feature cheaper burgers. The burgers are cheaper in those countries. The price gap, the gap is the difference, okay? Like in Sweden, it's $8. In Taiwan, it's $2. That's a pretty big difference. Is not just. So the word just, come down here. The synonyms are only, merely, simply, and solely is a synonym, but you got to use it differently. And we're going to read through and talk about that. The price gap doesn't just involve the cost. So is not just about, we're going to change into doesn't just involve the cost of ingredients. Or you can say the price gap isn't solely, there's that word solely, related to the cost or price of ingredients. And above ingredients, I gave you a bunch of examples. The meat, hamburger buns, lettuce, ketchup. There's all kinds of ingredients, pickles, things like that. But also, the synonyms are as well and to, and these are all adverbs, but you have to use them differently. And that's why I put asterisks with these synonyms. So the word but is a conjunction. Also, you can put after a conjunction. But if I use as well or to, it has to go after the noun factors. If I read through, the cost of ingredients but reflects local economic factors as well or to. Like if I say, I speak English and also Chinese. See, and is my conjunction, also is my adverb. But if I want to say that with to or as well, I would say, I speak English and Chinese as well, or and Chinese too. So that's how you use these synonyms. I want you to watch for that. Let's keep reading. Including or such as labor costs. So labor, that's the money you have to pay your workers. Worker, these are the synonyms for labor. Worker, employee, staff, or workforce. Costs are expenses, the money you have to spend on your workers. And supply chains. So supply chains is the money you have to pay to send the ingredients to the stores. Supply chains, I wrote distribution networks, delivery systems, or logistics. If you live in a country where gas or oil are more expensive, you will probably pay more for your hamburger then. Okay? While the Big Mac Index cannot capture, so let's start with cannot here. Can is a verb. The adjective for can is able, and the noun for can is ability. You use them all different ways though, and I want to show you how to use them. While the Big Mac Index isn't able to capture, see, that's how you use able. Or I can say doesn't have the ability to capture, or lacks the ability to capture. So these are all different ways to use it. Now capture, come over here. Showcase, convey, express, explain, help one understand, help a person understand. See, I can just use one and it means a person. The full or complete complexity, because this is a complex thing to understand. Currencies in different countries, exchange rates. Complexity, the synonyms are intricacy, depth, nuance, complicatedness. The antonyms are simplicity or ease, okay? Of international or global exchange, and exchange means trade, rates, or values. But I reworded all of this. While the Big Mac Index doesn't fully explain currency values in other countries, because international is about other countries. That's how you can just read this sentence, and it's much easier, I think, for learners. While the Big Mac Index doesn't fully explain currency values in other countries, it is the Big Mac Index, provides or offers or gives us an accessible. So this is accessible. You don't really need to go to college to find the Big Mac Index. You can find it pretty easily on Google. It's understandable, comprehensible, and user-friendly. And relatable. So relatable also means understandable because we can relate to McDonald's. I think most people know what McDonald's is. Approachable or relevant. Way. So under the word way, I wrote the synonyms. Method, technique, strategy or approach for people or individuals to understand or comprehend currency values. And you can see I wrote that up here in this, so I could kind of help you understand that they're going to use it here. So let's read through this. For people to understand the value of money, or for people to understand how much money is worth. And maybe for money here, I might even say currency. Or for people to understand exchange rates. And I will add the word currency. That's a good synonym for you to use here. Okay? For people to understand currency values, or for people to understand exchange rates in everyday terms. All right, let's finish this story. Every day you can say practical, ordinary, or commonplace. The antonyms are specialized, technical, intricate, advanced, or complex. So if it's complex, it's hard to understand. Terms are just words or vocabulary. The words in this story might not be that hard for you to understand because you can understand the cost of a Big Mac in one country versus another. I reworded it. Let's read it and end this. So, relatable way for people to understand currency values in an easy way or in a simplified way for people to understand currency values with simple vocabulary because they use pretty easy words. And last one, for people to understand currency values in a way most people will understand. So a lot of economists have even talked about this, which tells me if smart people are using this, anyone can use this to help you understand currency values. Thanks for reading with me.